And as you said, 60% in the industry are women. But there again, we want to take a look to see how are we promoting those within. I'm not in favor of EEOC type things where you have edicts that demand, but there are a lot of women that we are overlooking. And again, when we do that, they're exiting the workforce and starting on their own, and again, proving to be quite successful.
All right, today we have with us Claudia Mandato, Executive Vice President at Lockton. Welcome, Claudia.
Thanks for having me, Amber.
Thanks for taking the time to chat on BPTV. Looking forward to getting your perspective as an industry veteran.
Well, I appreciate you asking me.
All right, first category is hot topic. And the hot topic today is the business of people, the people of business. So you've created and run international associate development and learning programs that have changed Lockton from the foundation on up. And recently you've taken on doing this for Lockton's small business practice. So insurance is a thing that can be taught and learned. What role do we have in educating people outside the industry? What knowledge, practical and soft skills would help small business owners better understand insurance and how to unlock its value as an essential business tool?
I think we do have a responsibility, especially with the young people that are coming up. We do probably need to start earlier than college. I know that a lot of our competitors and some of our affiliates like wholesalers are doing quite just that. Lockton is as well. We are looking at the high school level to educate those youngsters about the industry itself, because we don't get a good sort of representation of what insurance is about. As far as business owners, I think that we would do far better by aligning ourselves with small business associations, with legal entities that are working with small businesses to get business up and started. I think there would be a lot of different areas to do so, because small business owners tend to view this as a requirement.
Wonderful. Let's jump into the next category, which is industry chatter, where we get a quote from someone else in the industry and get your reaction. So today's quote comes to us from Brooke Runyon in Insurance Business, who talked about the additional strain the pandemic put on many female leaders. So the quote from Brooke is, "We need to create those support systems at work and come up with ways to handle competing demands. We saw women leaving the workforce at higher rates during COVID, which took us back a few steps. We need to find ways to navigate things differently." So women continue to be drastically underrepresented in positions of leadership in the industry. Though women comprise 60% of the overall insurance workforce, they hold only 12% of officer level positions. So what progress do you think we've made in recent years, and where is there still room for improvement? How can we build these support systems?
Well, first I need to comment that Brooke Runyon was one of my most favorite people, since she is a Lockton producer. And so I was really thrilled to see that quote from her. She's spot on. I do think we have to look at it a little bit differently, because the competition, we tend to look at competition in the industry itself. But when you take a look at the labor statistics, you see that women-owned business are by far outpacing what men start. So you have to start thinking, okay, so if 40% of businesses in the United States are owned by women, what is the attraction for doing that? And Brooke is absolutely correct. COVID really created an opportunity, because again, according to the labor statistics, 1,800 new businesses a day were started by women in the last year, which is astonishing to me. So women are contributing to something like 1.8 trillion to the economy. So I think that we've got a much bigger challenge than I think we thought about, because women are very smart. They tend to take risk. And given the numbers of starting of the new businesses, it's really intriguing to me that we have not been able to hang on to some of the women because they're looking at other things. So what might be some of those things? Well, when we think about it, and you just hit on a couple of things in Brooke's quote, that they're not getting the opportunity to really be leaders. So when they start their own businesses, they definitely have that opportunity and are proven that they do it quite well, especially in areas of healthcare. They're even construction. So those are some of the leading businesses not just your traditional female associated type roles.
Shout out to all the agents out there who are embodying those characteristics. Having spent a number of years in underwriting, and I spent a number of years working directly with agents and producers, and have just the utmost respect for the work that they do. And truly, you are the CEO of your business, and it takes a certain kind of personality to really thrive in that. And it's so awesome to see those that do and are really, you know, on the front lines of insurance, taking care of those insureds. Of course, is the whole reason the industry exists, right?
Precisely.
Great. Let's move into our final category for today, which is questions from the crowd, where we ask questions in advance from our BPTV audience. So today's question is, commercial is incredibly complex and time-consuming to quote, one of the last corners of the industry that remains manually challenging like this. So how can brokers use tech to scale and improve their commercial quoting?
The way that the agent can really embrace technology is to look at the process in and of itself and look at the areas that can be automated on those types of jobs that aren't going to be as probably the priority or have the high importance. So if you look at certificates of insurance or auto ID cards, or simply the act of putting the submission together, those things don't require that skill set, but can use technology to do it. Our challenge is that we're all basically strapped for legacy systems. The carriers have a lot of systems in and of themselves, and we don't have that opportunity to create it from the front door of that broker agent to the front door of the insurance carrier.
How are a lot of you see the agents and the brokers who are adopting technology, how are the ones who are most successful at it? How are they finding and vetting and selecting technology solutions? I've got to imagine it's got to be overwhelming for any broker or agent of any size out there to figure out who to partner with. There's so many different technology options. How are the ones who are really nailing it? How are they finding it and assessing it and implementing it differently than those who aren't doing as well with it?
Yeah, that's a profound question. And I do think that from my experience, what I've noticed is that it's really specialization. The ones that do it well have really specialized in a particular area, whether it is D&O, directors and officers liability, or cyber insurance, or workers' compensation. What you find is, because then you can be successful, because that trajectory of having an application that serves that particular purpose makes it much more easier to be able to adapt. So very much where the homeowners industry and personal auto have done an outstanding job when you think about it. But if you look at that, you have 4 or 5 forms when it comes to homeowners. And so the filings are fairly easy. So that can become more homogenized. And I don't like to hide behind technology, because then you basically don't have that ear of that client if you're basically driving them to a website to do their business. And I don't think that the majority of the buyers are ready to do that at any level, whether it's small commercial to large and jumbo size commercial.
Absolutely. It's finding that balance, maintaining the relationship.
Exactly.
With technology. Makes perfect sense. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today on BPTV. Again, Claudia Mandato from Locked In. Thanks, Claudia.
Thank you, Amber. Really appreciate it.
Great to have you.